Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be recapping an isekai anime filled with lots of action, adventure, and fantasy. In English, this anime is known as Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. Episode 1. It begins with a group of young people fighting a goblin. We learn that even though goblins are the weakest creatures in Grimgar, they're still stronger than humans. The team consists of Haruhiro, Ranta, Minato, Moguzo, Yumi, and Shiharu. In the next scene, they wake up in a new place with no idea of where they are, and they also can't remember lots of things. Later on, we see them being recruited into the volunteer squad of soldiers to fight and kill monsters. Haruhiro and his squad set out to their respective guilds. He is in the Thieves Guild, and his instructor is a woman named Barbara. The episode comes to an end with the whole group discussing about their guilds and instructors. Soon, they go out to hunt for goblins, but they are unsuccessful, meaning that they will make no money. Episode 2. Haruhiro has a discussion with Minato. He finds out that Minato went to a tavern to drink, as a way to gather information for their group. The group go hunting the next day, and they spot a lone goblin. They attack the creature and the battle begins, with Haruhiro giving it a shallow cut on the wrist. The 6 of them all struggle against the goblin that is determined not to die, as it evades their attacks and launches counters of its own. With the goblin now injured, it lets out a loud scream that scares the inexperienced group of 6. But they have to kill it, or else they won't make money to feed or buy clothes. The second round of battle begins. Shiharu is able to injure the goblin with her spell. They surround the creature and Haruhiro stabs it in the neck, while Moguza slashes it in the head. They think they have won, and begin to congratulate themselves. However, not long after, the goblin wakes up and knocks down Ranta and begins to run away. Ranta catches it and stabs it severely till it dies, while the others watch in horror. Episode 3. It's the early hours of the morning. Haruhiro and Moguzo are preparing for breakfast. In the next scene, we see Haruhiro, Minato, and Moguzo apologizing to the girls, Yumi and Shiharu, for peeping at them. An incident that happened the previous week. Ranta refuses to apologize, claiming that it was an accident. Yumi and Haruhiro go scouting, but all the goblins they see are in groups. The group has gotten frustrated, and we learn that they haven't made any money for days now, and their clothes are beginning to wear out. Haruhiro prevents Rana from a situation that could have ended with him peeping on the girls again. And after the rain stops, they decide to go hunting once more. They explore the ruins of a city, and they find a sleeping goblin. It's easy for them to kill, and they're able to make a profit. They're able to buy lots of food and a change of clothes. Episode 4. The episode begins with a cute scene of Minato and Shiharu. He is feeding some birds, and the scene ends with her falling into his arms. In the next scene, we see that the group has now grown stronger, and they're also talking about learning new skills. Soon we learn that Ranta has also earned a demon named Zodiac. The whole team begins to pack their belongings from the hunting ground. They're about to leave when an archer aims for Minato, but ends up hitting Haruhiro. The team has been ambushed. A team of goblins appear, and our volunteer soldiers quickly retreat, after running away into the woods. Minato collapses, and they realize that the goblins had shot him with an arrow. Minato dies, and even the head of the priest guild is not able to bring him back to life. We also learn there's a zombie curse in town, so they'll have to bury him as soon as possible. Episode 5. Even though our favorite team are quite broke, they're able to pay for Minato's funeral, which costs a whopping 1 silver coin. Processing Minato's death leads the team to an argument, and Ranta wants to quit life as a volunteer soldier. In this episode, we're introduced to Mary. She's going to be the new priest of the group. Following Minato's death, Mary operates as a healer in her own way, different from how Minato operated, and it leads to some problems for them, fighting as a team. This change in personnel means that they have to reorganize their fighting style to stand a chance of defeating goblins. Episode 6. Haruhiro and Yumi have a cute bonding moment. The team then has a discussion concerning Mary, and how they can all treat each other better so that they can function well as a team. Yumi and Shiharu try to engage Mary in a discussion in the next scene. However, she shuts them down. Later on, the guys decide to take Yumi and Shiharu to a tavern, as a way of bonding, being that the relationship between the boys and the girls have deteriorated since Minato's death. The next day, the group is engaged in a fight with some goblins, and we see that their teamwork has improved. Mary joins the fight, protecting their backs, and after the fight, they all agree to contribute money and buy a protective helmet for Moguzo, who is the tank of the team. Haruhiro takes the team to Orion, and here they find out that Mary had a very sad childhood. If you're enjoying this video, hit the like button and subscribe to get updated every time we upload. Episode 7. The episode begins with more explanations about Mary's past and how she lost a very dear friend. The team holds a meeting, and as people that have all suffered some form of trauma, they decided to be kinder to Mary. The next day, Haruhiro and Yumi are scouting the goblins, and they see a goblin holding Haruhiro's dagger that he misplaced when Minato died. Back at home, he decides to tell Mary the whole story of how Minato died, so that she can feel like a true member of the team. The whole team calls her their friend, and that scene comes to a close. With their teamwork now in better shape, they go around slaying goblins till they become famous as the Goblin Slayers. They spend all their money on improving their skills and weapons, becoming far stronger. The team is now at a stage where they are confident in their abilities, so they decide to go after the goblin party that killed Minato. Episode 8. They take the goblin team by surprise, and they are able to eliminate some of the guards. The commotion outside alerts the goblins inside, and soon it's a free-for-all. This episode produces the most intense battle we've seen so far in the series, and it even heightened with the clash between Maguzo and the giant goblin. Each team member is fighting a goblin. There are clashes of swords and even arrows flying, but the goblins have the upper hand as they seem to understand how humans fight, and so they are able to predict the team's actions. Mary begins to heal everyone and also leads the attack on the goblins, and the tide of the battle is changed. While they think they have won, Mary gets shot in the back with an arrow, reminiscent of Minato. Haruhiro chases the goblin and finds out that the dagger is in the goblin's possession. They begin a 1-versus-1 fight that ends with Haruhiro being victorious. The next day, they're at the cemetery visiting Minato, and we find out that they have now become real soldiers, no longer trainees as they now have badges. Episode 9. Haruhiro wakes up late, and that sets the theme for this episode, being that the team has given themselves a day off. They all go about their actions with Maguzo repairing his gear. Haruhiro meets Shihoru feeding the birds. Ranta is on a boat, and he soon sees Yumi climbing rocks. In the evening, they go to the tavern to spend some time together, and they learn that the goblins have now been unsettled and they are armed, patrolling the city. With the city now out of reach, they need a new hunting ground, and the group ends up choosing Cyrene Mines. Mary nearly has a panic attack hearing this, because this is where she lost her former teammates. Each member of the team begins to learn new skills and upgrade themselves in preparation for their Cyrene Mines adventure. Episode 10. The team gets to Cyrene Mines and they are soon engaged in combat with creatures known as kobolds. They all showcase their new skills and easily defeat the kobolds. They loot the bodies and decide to go down to the next level, where they will meet stronger kobolds. They are able to defeat the next set of stronger creatures with Shihoru's help, as her new spell stops them from moving. Haruhiro, as the leader, decides that the team should retreat. They go back home and rest. Then later, they go back to the cave and another round of fighting begins. Ranta, being the stubborn person he is, refuses to work with the team and acts out on his own. And soon, he accidentally sets off an alarm, and the team has to hide where the stronger sections of the kobolds come out. The kobold boss, known as Death Spot, also arrives, and we can see that Mary is terrified. Episode 11. This episode opens with Mary thinking about her old teammates. Soon it is revealed she got lost in her thoughts. Maguzo calls out to her, bringing her back to the present. She begins to lead them away from Death Spot. They head down to the 5th level and enter a temple. Here they meet Mary's old friends, who have now fallen under the zombie curse. The fight begins, and Mary is able to dispel the curse, and her former group is laid to rest. Death Spot makes an aggressive entrance. The team flees from him as the cabal is too big for them to confront. While escaping, Ranta falls off the scaffold after saving Haruhiro, and the team has to escape without him. Episode 12. In his injured state, Ranta escapes into the cage where the kobolds raise some animals that look like pigs. He succeeds in hiding there, and the kobolds can't find him. Ranta summons his demon known as Zodiac. Later, the kobold notices something weird and goes out to check it. However, Ranta kills the creature. Haruhiro and other members arrive at the cave to save Ranta, and they hear the alarm bells go off. Death Spot destroys the shade where Ranta is hiding, but Haruhiro arrives and saves him, while the other members of the team are fighting the kobolds. The whole team meets up and they have a little time to rest before Death Spot arrives, and the final battle begins. Simultaneously, they attack Death Spot, but the kobold gains the upper hand, and soon some of the team members are injured. Haruhiro understands the situation, so he kicks Death Spot over the ledge and falls down with the kobold. And now, it's a life-or-death fight between both of them. After blinding the monster, he succeeds in killing it, and in the next scene, we see all of them back at home. We find out that they earned 30 gold coins for defeating Death Spot, and the anime comes to an end. If you like to receive lots of gold coins like Haruhiro and his team, then hit that like and subscribe button to get updated as soon as we post more content.